while we chant the Guru Puja song, the Guru Vandana, please come forward. You can come through here. You can come through here and offer flowers to Srila Prabhupada, to the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, not all together, one by one. Okay. Nama So we started with worshipping Srila Prabhupada and the Bhagavad Gita with flowers, and now we are going to worship the Bhagavad Gita with our intelligence. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, one who studies Bhagavad Gita, he worships me with his intelligence. So study of Bhagavad Gita is devotional service that pleases Lord Krishna. Study of Bhagavad Gita is full of spiritual instructions, spiritual techniques and it is called the science of the soul, the theistic science of the soul. And it is so important because it has been spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna himself. Therefore, it is a supreme theistic science. That could be a question for your exam. So, Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters. Bhagavad Gita is divided in 3 parts. The first 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters. The middle 6 chapters contain the most confidential knowledge. And what is this most confidential knowledge? It's bhakti, devotional service. And the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita contain jnana, knowledge. Knowledge on different levels. Knowledge called in the form of jnana yoga. And understanding the difference between body and soul. Knowledge in the form of karma yoga. How to act as a soul and not as the body. And then at the end, Bhakti Yoga is explained. Also the last 6 chapters is all about jnana in the form of analogies, the banyan tree, how one can get liberation by understanding the tree of material existence, or in the form of the 3 modes, by understanding the 3 modes, how one can attain liberation. And understanding the difference between matter and spirit and attain liberation. Understanding the difference between a demoniac mentality and a divine mentality and attain liberation. So much knowledge. But most important for us is that we learn how to apply this knowledge in our daily life. Because the science of Bhagavad Gita is not easy to understand. Because to understand the science, one must be transcendentally situated. But with the help of Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, we will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. Because Srila Prabhupada explains the spiritual techniques of Bhagavad Gita in such a way that we know exactly how to apply it in our lives. And therefore, during this study of Bhagavad Gita, I will put a lot of emphasis on Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, so that we start to internalize this knowledge through Srila Prabhupada's commentaries and understand the deeper meaning of the Bhagavad Gita and meaning for it in our daily life. So today we will discuss the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and that contains 4 sections. Now the first chapter is about observing the armies. It's an introduction. But it's not just an introduction. It contains already very deep philosophy, we will see. It's not just a description of the battlefield. We will detect or learn about different mentalities of all these personalities on the battlefield. So, chapter 1 is called Observing the Armies. Chapter 2 is contents of the Gita summarized. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. You will need to remember these titles of these chapters. That's important. And if possible, also the subdivisions. Because if you know the subdivisions, then if someone asks you what's in chapter 2, and you remember these subdivisions, then you can tell what's in chapter 2 just by remembering that. These names of these subdivisions that was introduced by, especially in our movement in the study of Bhagavad Gita by Bhakti Prabhu, who wrote this study guide, Surrender Unto Me, a very interesting study guide. If you want to read more about Bhagavad Gita and how to study it, study that book carefully. It's in the database. Another book I would highly recommend reading is the Bhakti of Purports by Shiva Maharaj. It's also very helpful in understanding Bhagavad Gita. I will also refer many times to the purpose of Baladev Vidyabhushan. Srila Prabhupada refers to the purpose of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. That these are all important previous acharyas with deep insights in the Bhagavad Gita. The insights of Baladev Vidyabhushan are very revealing. He's really on the transcendental position, and he sees verses between the verses of Bhagavad Gita and puts them between to clarify, and by that makes the conversation, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, brings it really to life. So what we do this evening, we will discuss the first 2 parts, here up to verse 20. So the first part is introduction, preparations for war. We can also call it, well, Purnachandra Maharaj called it the Duryodhana Gita. Because it's said in the verses, Duryodhana, in Abravit, the word Abravit, Sanskrit word is used, and Abravit means he spoke some words to meet his ends. We will see Duryodhana he feels very confident in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. He's so sure he's going to win the war. But Krishna has other plans. And we will learn about Duryodhana's diplomacy. And the signs of victory. Then when these signs of victory, after that, Krishna appears in the Bhagavad Gita as a charioteer of Arjuna. And there we will learn something about the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna. How Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, is the well-wisher of all his devotees. And then the last part of the first chapter, we will hear about Arjuna's problems. He gets some doubts, different doubts, and he will express these doubts. Mainly, it's all reasons he says, I don't want to fight for this, that, and he brings up so many good reasons. Why not to fight? And the answer of the Bhagavad Gita, or the Bhagavad Gita, is the answer on all these doubts. Krishna replies to all these doubts, and that's the Bhagavad Gita. So it's important to understand Arjuna's doubts, because then you understand why Krishna is saying one thing after another in Bhagavad Gita, how it is all connected. So that's also very important. So I will give 2 lessons today. First lesson is up to verse 13, and then the second lesson goes to text 23, at the middle of Bhakta Vatsal. That my presentation will take 1.5 hours. If you have questions, you write them down. And from 8:30 till 9, we have time for questions. We will have also special sessions. I wrote you about these tutorials, so you can book for that. And during that time, I can answer all your questions, or if you have missed lessons, then I can give a summary of what you missed and show the flow chart and so on. I make also a handout for you. These are the key memory verses of Bhagavad Gita. These are all the verses for the first 9 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. You have to memorize in Sanskrit and in English. So I just advise you every day, morning or evening, whatever, once a day, you read that loudly. And you will see after a few months you will have memorized it. But we will have also a special session in May. On a Sunday, I will have a workshop on memorizing slokas, how to do that, and all the techniques. So you can just. So we will now read the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. But before study Bhagavad Gita, we recite always prayers which are very important. Because Bhagavad Gita can be understood when we have a very submissive attitude, a humble service attitude towards towards the spiritual master, towards Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
So you know the recording, will you email that to us, or should I?
Yeah, no, the recording, I will post the recordings on the website, and you will receive an email about that.
Thank you.
If you study at home Bhagavad Gita, it's good to memorize or to recite these prayers every time before studying. Because the purpose is not to keep this knowledge for us, but its purpose is to give it to others. And the graduates of this Bhakti Sastri course, I recommend greatly to give lectures and to preach. That's the purpose of the study, to give it to others. This is a spiritual law. If you want to make spiritual advancement, if you want to realize this knowledge, give this knowledge to others. And then you will realize it. And that's the experience, that's an experience of every preacher. That it's contradictory to material laws. In material laws, you give something away and you get rid of it, right? But this is a spiritual law. You try to give this knowledge to others, and you realize it. So, if you can go to the first page of the introduction, and you can recite the Sanskrit with me. Om Ajnana Timirasya Janam Sarasaraya Chakshurumidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dādāti Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Gurāpadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sakamaranatam Tam Sajivam Sadhaivam Sadhutam Bhajanasaitam Shri Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakananda Shishta Kampitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gauranga Radhe Radheshwari Krishnavandhuste Devi Pranamai Hariye Vanchakalpadurasya Kripasindhuvesya Adhyavamayo Vaishnavaya Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. And then we pray to our spiritual master, or to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Staya Padalishki Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prashtachatarya. And then we glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we have text 1. And here, this is Sanjay speaking. Sanjay is he's the secretary of Dhritarashtra. And by the mercy of Vyasa, his spiritual master, is able to see what's going on the battlefield. He gets the transcendental vision and is able in the palace to describe what's going on in the battlefield. And the first verse is King Dhritarashtra is asking a question to Sanjay. And he says, Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samavita dviyutsava mamaka pandavashe vakimam Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? This is a very interesting question, because Dhritarashtra, he says, yeah, they are desiring to fight, so, and then he's asking what are they going to do there? That's a little funny, but it shows that he has some doubt that, and he says, Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, because Kurukshetra is a holy place. There's a whole story about that King Kuru, that, let's see if I remember it, but King Kuru once, he started to plow the place which later is called Kurukshetra. But King Kuru was the emperor of the world, so it was King Indra, because at that time kings were very pious and were visited by the demigods, and King Indra came and he said, what are you trying to do? That's not a work for a king, plowing the... I said, no, he said, King Kuru, I want to plow it because I do that sacrifice because I desire everyone who comes here at this place, that everyone who comes here will get liberation. And Indra said, King Indra said, no, that you may believe that, but how can you be successful in that endeavor? And King Indra started to shower rains and very bad weather. But that went on for a whole time, and King Kuru just he tolerated everything. And at a certain time, all the other demigods said to King Indra, giving a break. It is a very pious person. So anyway, then King Indra, he could not give the blessing for liberation, because himself is not a liberated person. But he gave the blessing that everyone who dies on that tract of land will go to the heavenly planets. So the Pandavas have always been very pious, and the Kurus and under the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were very evil, especially Duryodhana was the most evil of all. Vidura, when Vidura was like the counselor of Dhritarashtra. He said, when Duryodhana was born, he said immediately to Dhritarashtra, because he knew that the astrological calculation of the child, he said, this will be a most evil son. You better get rid of him. But better to get rid from one bad village than that the whole country is affected. You just get rid of him. That was, yeah. So they were very pious. And so here we have King Dhritarashtra is thinking, oh, this battle will take place at Kurukshetra, but that will be good for the Pandavas, because that will give strength to their piety, but that will not be good for my sons. So he became full of anxiety the place that was not the right place to fight the battle for his sons, who were very evil. Srila Prabhupada, in a lecture in London, 1973, says, why is he asking this question? Kim Akurvata? What did they do? He was very anxious about whether they changed their decision. Otherwise, there was no question of asking Kim Akurvata. Just like if you are given food, if I ask someone, such and such gentleman was served with nice dishes, then what did they do? It's clear. This is a foolish question. He would eat. That's all. So also, the fact that the battle was on this holy tract of Kurukshetra indicated that the Pandavas would be victorious as a sign of victory. We will hear more signs of victory here, but that's also a sign that the Pandavas will be victorious. Now, text 2. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So Raja Vachanam Aparavit. He spoke some words. Acharya's comment, he spoke some words to meet his ends. He had a certain purpose. And we will see that purpose very soon by studying the other verses. So he went to Dronacharya, his teacher, because they were on the battlefield. And if you are going to fight with an opposing party, then you want to know what's my strength, what's the strength of the other parties, and make a strategy and just look what will be the outcome. He was coming down. So, strategic planning. So we have text 3. Paschaitam Pandu Putranam Acharyam Atimchanam Yudam Drupada Putrena Tavashishena Dimata. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So the son of Drupada was Pristadhyumna. And Dronacharya, Duryodhana mentioned this to Dronacharya because he wants Dronacharya to fight and to lead all the others with full strength. And to fight with full strength, you need anger. That you cannot fight without this passion, this anger to fight. So he's making him angry by saying that. Because he's saying, Drupada Putrena, the son of Drupada. So it's a whole history. Because Dronacharya and Drupada, they went together to the Gurukul. And they were very close friends. That they had a deep friendship in the Gurukul. So deep that at a certain moment, Drupada said to Dronacharya, whatever I have is yours. And whatever I will get in the future, it's yours. I offer it to you out of friendship. But then later, King Drupada became a very powerful king. And Dronacharya was a poor Brahman. Was very poor. And so poor that he could not even offer milk to his son. And his son was Ashvatam. We will hear Ashvatam also in the Bible, in the first whole stories about Ashvatam. But the friends of Ashvatam, youngsters, they were joking with Ashvatam. And one day they took some white powder and mixed it with water and gave it to Ashvatam and said, "Here, Ashvatam, milk." And he had never seen milk in his life. But he drank it and it didn't taste good. And Dronacharya saw this and said, "Oh, I'm so poor." And then he was remembering his friendship with Drupada. And he went to Drupada, to his kingdom, and he went into his palace. But then it appeared that King Drupada was not very eager to receive Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was begging. He said, I'm very poor, out of our friendship. Please, can you offer me just one cow? And Drupada said, "No way. Said, we are not equals. Friendship is between equals." So, and he threw him out of the palace. And by that, Dronacharya became very concerned. And he decided, "I'm a Brahmin, but I will learn the martial art." And he learned the whole martial art and started to teach it. And then later, the Pandavas became his disciples. And so he was teaching Arjuna in the art of archery. Anyway, he was teaching them martial arts, and they became all educated and very strong fighters under his expert guidance. But then when they were all educated in martial arts, it's the duty of the disciple to ask, "Please, can I offer some Guru Dakshin?" And Dronacharya said, "Yes, my Guru Dakshin will be, you bring Drupada here, you conquer him and you bring him here." And Duryodhana said, "No problem, I will do that. I can do that." But Dronacharya said, "No, you will not be successful. It will be Arjuna." And Arjuna went to defeat Drupada, and he brought Drupada at the feet of his spiritual master. And then Duryodhana took half of his kingdom and left him the other half. But that's the whole history of this enmity between Drupada and Dronacharya. And Duryodhana knew this, so he brings in that argument to make him extra angry. And then, but of course, there is another aspect, is that we have here Duryodhana. He is instructing, he accepts as disciple Dhritarashtra, who is the son of Drupada, his enemy. It was astrologically predicted that Dhritarashtra would kill Dronacharya, and Dronacharya knew this. Still, he accepted him as his disciple and instructed him in martial arts. That Srila Prabhupada He speaks of that in London, 1973. So Dronacharya knew that Drupada Maharaj has got his son. In the future he will kill me. Still, when he offered to become his disciple to learn military art, he accepted. Yes, that means the Brahmins were so liberal. When he's my disciple, never mind. If he kills me in the future, that doesn't matter. But I must teach him. Duty is duty. After all, everyone will die. So nobody should be afraid of death. This is Vedic civilization. Death is inevitable, as sure as death. Who can avoid death? So being afraid of death, we should not deviate from our duties. So we go to next verse 4. O my teacher, behold the great army of the son of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Duryodhana, Virat and Drupad. There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Shetiketan, Kasiraj, Purjit, Kunti Bodha and Saibya. But for your information, O best of the Brahmins, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatam, Vikarna, the son of Somadatta, called Bharishrava, who are always victorious in battle. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake, and all of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and are all experienced in military science. So there are some interesting quotes about Srila Prabhupada. Now we see here,
Just have to move.
we see that yeah,
Just have to choke.
one can say this Bhagavad Gita is all about chanting, about fighting. But then Srila Prabhupada says, or the main teaching is we should chant. So how is that going together? That people may ask, by mentioning these great fighters, what spiritual progress do we make? We are meant for chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So by chanting the names of these great fighters, what do we gain? But the thing is that Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. That's a verse we will learn in Nectar of Devotion. Whenever there is connection with Krishna, that also becomes Krishna. Krishna wanted to gather all the demoniac powers on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them. That was his plan. The fight was who would be the king, Maharaj Yudhishthira or Duryodhana. So Krishna decided Duryodhana is unfit, Maharaj Yudhishthira is fit. This was Krishna's desire. Therefore, the fight Kurukshetra, Krishna wanted to wipe out all unwanted demons from the face of the world and enthrone Maharaj Yudhishthira, because he was the exact representative of Krishna. Anyone who was killed, who died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra in the presence of Krishna, they all attained their original constitutional position, spiritual form. They all went back to home, back to cottage, everyone. Therefore, Krishna is absolute, either he's killing or he's protecting. It's all the same. So that's a great lesson we have to learn from Bhagavad Gita. Come out of this vision of duality. That's good and bad. That's all related to the body, not related to the soul. That everything, our business is to Krishna some one day, to connect with Krishna, to connect everything with Krishna. So we see here that Duryodhana, first of all, he points out the military strength of the opposite side. Srila Prabhupada says, right, this is intelligence. One should calculate opposing elements. In fighting, the first thing is to estimate the enemy's side, how strong they are, and how they are arranged. Then one should calculate how to counteract, how to fight with them. This is intelligence. A prajna, an intelligent man, not only thinks of the bright side of the business of anything, there is a darker side also. Should always think, if there is a thief, there is a rogue. If they cheat us, what precaution am I going to take? And there's another quote. Somebody was criticizing me that, Swamiji, you are introducing this Hare Krishna movement. People are becoming cowardly. They simply chant Hare Krishna. So I replied that you will see the power of the Hare Krishna movement in due course of time. Because there were two battles in India. The battle between Rav and Ravana, the battle of the Ramayana. And another battle was the battle of Kurukshetra. And in these two battles, the hero was a Vaishnava. And so Vaishnavas do not simply chant Hare Krishna. If there is need, they can fight under the guidance of Vishnu and become victorious. Out of the 26 qualifications, one qualification is Daksha, expert. If there is need for fighting, they can fight very expertly. That is also needed. Krishna consciousness does not mean one-sided. Krishna is all-pervading. The Krishna conscious movement should be all-pervading. I should touch everything. It should touch everything. Politics, sociology, everything if required. No, this is a commentary on verse 9. But in the previous verse, he said, Anye Sabhava Sura Matarte Tyaktva Jivita. Tyaktva Jivita means they have come down to lay their life for me. This is foretelling, because actually, whoever joined the battle of Kurukshetra did not return. Tyakta Jivita. So it has already been concluded that although Duryodhana was very proud of his military strength protected by Bhishma, still Tyaktva Jivita, they would surely die. Also, because in these verses we can go very deep, but we don't have so much time. But in verse 8, like for example, so Duryodhana says, Bhavam Vishma Sakarma Shakti Pasa Samitim Chaya. So it says Bhavan. Bhavan means Dronacharya. Bhavan, your good self, because he's speaking to Dronacharya. He mentions first Dronacharya and then Bhishma and then Karna. If he would done it otherwise, in another sequence, he would have been in great trouble. Because Bhishma Dev is the greatest, the biggest fighter. He mentions Dronacharya first, because Dronacharya is a Brahmin. So, and Vishmadev does not, that's alright to mention the Brahmin first. But, of course, Karna, if he would not put Karna before Bhishma, but Bhishmadev is greater. So it's diplomatic. He does the right thing, that he does not disturb anyone, so that they will feel encouraged to fight. Because that's his end, that's his purpose. He wants them to fight with all strength. All that this diplomacy we also can perceive in next verses. Verse 11. First, it's done again. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Vishnu, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. So here, and that's interesting. It says, from this we can understand that Duryodhana is sure he's going to win the battle. He's saying our strength is immeasurable and there is limited, he says. So he's sure of his victory. That and say, yeah, protected by grandfather Bhishma. But at the other side, before he had mentioned I think it was text 4. No, in text 5. Yes. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting for Bhima and Arjuna. It's mentioning Bhima because everyone is afraid of Bhima. Bhima had made 3 terrible vows. Srila Prabhupada speaks about this in Duryodhana was afraid of Bhima's fiery temperament and expertise in fighting. Before the battle, Bhima took 3 vows. He vowed to kill each of Dhritarashtra's 100 sons. Yeah. And he vowed to break Duryodhana's thigh, which he had uncovered before Draupadi. And he vowed to tear open Dushasana's chest and drink his blood. That's quite 3 terrible vows. They were all afraid of Bhima. That Bhima also, we see that in the Mahabharata. Yes, this fiery but playful temperament. And sometimes he was playing with his cousins, with the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, and they all climbed in trees. And Bhima went to the trees and started to move the trees, and they were all falling from the trees, breaking bones and so on. And then after that, he had a plan, yes, we will celebrate Bhima's birthday, and they offered him a big cake, a poison cake. But anyway, the story is in the Mahabharata that Bhima just digested the poison. That okay, then here verse 12 and 13, 11. All of you must give full strength to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic entrance into the phalanx of the army. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. So there are a few interesting points here, but I will read text 13 first, but then we finish this section. After that, the conchs, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all still sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. So we see here Duryodhana is encouraging the Vishnudev to fight. And so Vishnudev hears this so-called glorification. Vishnudev is a pure devotee, but he's just fighting at the wrong side. But that's not a big point, because Vishnudev thinks victory of the defeat, whether I am on that side or the other side, victory or defeat is in the hands of the Lord. And I'm a Kshatriya. I will do my duty. I will give my life for the Supreme Lord and doing my duty. So he was not interested in hearing all this glorification that he got from Duryodhana. In response, he took his conch and blew the conch. And by doing that, he showed this conch is the sign of Vishnu. And Vishnu will decide who is victorious. I'm surrendered to him. And he blew the conch. So this is one more comment. Srila Prabhupada. In modern days, the fighting takes place. The poor soldiers, they come to fight, and the leaders, they remain in a safe place. It was not like that. All of them came out. Kshatriya, Vishnudev came, Duryodhana came, Arjuna came, and face to face they had to fight. Not that the poor soldiers would fight and the leaders would remain in a secure place. No. Kuru Vrita, the oldest man in the dynasty, Kuru dynasty, Pitamaha, he's the grandfather of Arjuna and Duryodhana. Vishnudev at such an old age also came. That is Kshatriya spirit. When there is fight, there is no rest. And fight means either the other party shall be killed or I shall be killed. That was the Kshatriya spirit. So, now we will discuss the next section. I believe someone has some water. So the next section describes the signs of victory, and Krishna who appears on the battlefield together with Arjuna. First, in text 14, you have the sound, the tumultuous sound of these conch shells. 14. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. So this means the Pandavas will be victorious. That, yes. There is a story in the Mahabharata that once, because the Pandavas, they wanted to make peace, but Duryodhana always was being very envious. He would not give the Pandavas anything. The Kurus, Pandavas, they were telling to Duryodhana, we are Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas, they have to rule. They need some land to rule. So we are 5. Please give us 5 villages. And Duryodhana said, no, I will not give you even the land with the surface of a pin. So he was not going to make peace to Duryodhana. When it was clear there was going to be a battle, then the Pandavas and the Kurus, they were all approaching and visiting kings to ask, please fight at my side, not at the other side. So, but of course, at a certain moment, Krishna was staying in, thinking, Hastinapur, and they went to the place where Krishna was staying. Arjuna came there and Duryodhana at the same time. They came at the same time to see Lord Krishna, and Krishna was still sleeping. And they went to his sleeping room, to his bed. And Arjuna was sitting at the feet of Krishna. And Duryodhana was just at the face of Krishna, because he was thinking, if Krishna wakes up, he will see me first and say to me, oh Duryodhana, you have come. What can I do for you? So, but then, when Krishna woke up, he looked straight to Arjuna. And he asked that question to Arjuna, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? Arjuna told him about the battle, and that they were wondering whether he would fight, at which side he would fight. And Krishna decided, I will not fight, but I will be the chariot driver at one side, and my army can go to the other side. So Arjuna, what do you want? Do you want me, or do you want my army, which was a big army? And Arjuna said, I want you, Krishna. And then Duryodhana became very happy, because that was his purpose, to get a whole army with a lot of strength. So in that way, this blowing of the conches of Krishna and Arjuna indicates a victory for the Pandavas. Now text 15, and text 15 I will read also the first paragraph. Lord Krishna blew his conch called Pansajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch called Paundra. Purport. Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesh in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. Living entities are part and parcels of him, and therefore the senses of the living entities are also part and parcels of his senses. The impersonalist cannot account for the senses of the living entity. Therefore, they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord situated in the hearts of all living entities directs their senses, but he directs in terms of surrender of the living entity. And in the case of a pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus in particular his particular name of Rishikesh. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudan because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandan because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yasodananda because he awarded his childhood pastimes to Yasoda at Vrindavan. His name is Parthasarathi because he worked as charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesh because he gave directions to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. These are all his transcendental names. Krishna is Rishikesh, the owner of the senses. He directs the senses in terms of the surrender of the living entities. In the case of a pure devotee like Arjuna, he directly controls his senses. And we will hear more about that. How Krishna, because Arjuna is a pure devotee. And he's a pure devotee, but he will have his doubts, not to fight. He gives so many reasons. But his doubts are not, although they present doubts of the conditioned souls, they are not really Arjuna's doubts. Living entities is influenced by Mahamaya, which is the modes of material nature, which will be discussed in the 13th chapter in details. But there is also Yoga Maya, the spiritual energy. And Krishna will direct Arjuna's senses and cause all these doubts in his mind so that Arjuna speaks them, and so that, and the purpose is only that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita. So, because Arjuna is an eternal associate of Krishna. And Krishna appears in the universe for 125 years, and then when his pastime is finished, the drama is finished, all the devotees who played the drama put off their costumes and they go to the next universe, and Krishna performs the drama again. And then Arjuna is again there. So that's an important point in the relationship with Krishna and Arjuna. That we will learn more about that. So Lord Krishna blew his conchal called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of a Herculean task, blew his terrific conchals. That's the verse we just read. But what's important here is so many personalities are mentioned here by their name. And all those who are mentioned by name, they will survive the battle of Kurukshetra. And all the others die. Very interesting. There's an observation that on text 6, 16 to 18. But first, let's hear Srila Prabhupada on these verses 14 and 15. There are 4 very short comments from lectures Srila Prabhupada mentioned, from lectures of Srila Prabhupada. Krishna and his devotee are on the same platform. Krishna and his devotee Arjuna are on the same platform. Therefore Madhava and Pandava blew their transcendental conchals. This is not ordinary. Arjuna, as Krishna's associate, is equally powerful. Nobody can be an associate of Krishna without being very, very advanced. Just like fire can mix with fire, similarly, water can mix with water. Similarly, unless one is transcendently advanced, he cannot be an associate of Krishna. So we have Arjuna. In another lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, Arjuna is 1,000 more qualified than any of us. That's a strong statement. Chitrarat, the chief of the Gandharvas, had given Arjuna his beautiful white horses. Agni gave him his inexhaustible quiver, and Indra has given him his conchal. So that is all, we know that from the Mahabharata. That's explained there. Rishikesh, Paramatma, is always guiding us. but we do not accept this guidance. This is our position. Arjuna has accepted Krishna, that I shall be guided by you, although you'll not fight. Yeah. Krishna does not fight, but he guides Arjuna. So, and then Bhima is mentioned. This is Vrikodar, Bhima is advertised as a voracious eater. So, we can perform a Herculean task just like the elephant. It eats voraciously, but it gives service also. If we simply eat voraciously and we cannot give any service, that is not good. We must eat sumptuously and give service also. That. Well, once a temple president in America was studying Srila Prabhupada, and he said, I have some devotees here, and they only want to chant and to read the scriptures and take prasadam. They don't want to do service. Srila Prabhupada wrote back, yes, he said between 2 bites of prasadam, they should also do the service of chanting. So that's very important. But of course, the purpose of the study of Bhagavad Gita is how to bring it in practice. And this practice is devotional service. It's a service with an inner attitude of love for Krishna. It's the art of first focusing one's attention to Krishna, and then giving all one's love to Krishna. But to attain that advancement, to attain that depends on the inner attitude of the follower. Srila Prabhupada says in the preface of Nectar Devotion. Inner attitude of the follower. And that's an important lesson we will learn, this inner attitude. How we do service with the appropriate inner attitude. Verses 16, 18. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his console, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Saddev blew the Sughosh and Manipuspaka. But great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Sikandi, Dhritarashtra, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective consoles. The blow of the different consoles became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So it's here you have the power of the subtle, because all those at the side of Krishna, because all the devotees were on the side of Krishna. They were sure of Krishna's protection. And that confidence came through their conscience. And that made the opposing party fearful. So that confidence in devotional service is very important. This is the process of surrender of Krishna. understanding what pleases Krishna, what does not please Krishna, and then live in the understanding that Krishna is my maintainer, that he is my protector. That means I can attain that consciousness of accepting Krishna every moment as one's protector if one becomes very humble. So the blowing of the conch of the Pandava army shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, but not the hearts of the Pandavas. This was due to the Pandavas' confidence in Lord Krishna's protection. And then, text 20. Yes. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna the following words. So we have here the flag marked with Hanuman. We have the flag of Hanuman, and Arjuna is getting the direction of Krishna. These are all signs of victory. So the Pandavas had no reason to be fearful that the devotees never fearful and depends in every situation on Krishna. This is Srila Prabhupada speaking on verse 19 in Geneva. The Pandavas were placed in so many distressing conditions, but they never faltered. They never asked Krishna, "My dear Krishna, you are our friend. Why are we undergoing so many severe difficulties?" They were confident that in spite of all these difficulties, we shall come out victorious because Krishna is here. This confidence is called Sharanagati, surrender. There are 6 points of surrender unto Krishna. 1 point of surrender is to believe Krishna will protect me. Just like a small child has full faith in his mother. My mother is here. There is no danger. Confident. I've seen it. I'll narrate one practical example. In Calcutta, in my younger days, I was traveling in a tram with my youngest son. My youngest son was with me. He was only 2.5 years old. So the conductor asked, by way of joke, asked him, "Give me your fare, your ticket." So he first of all said, "I've no money." So the conductor said, "Then you have to get down again." Then he immediately said, oh, here is my father. You cannot ask me to get down. So my father is here. You see, so this is the psychology. If you have approached Krishna, then even the greatest fear will not agitate you. Kaunteya pratijani hi name bhaktya pranashati. My dear Kaunteya, son of Kunti Arjuna, declaring the world that my devotee never vanquishes. Now on the next verse, on Hanuman, this is lecture in London, 1973. Srila Prabhupada gave in 1973 in London so many lectures on this first chapter. Nowadays, every nation has a different type of flag. Arjuna had also his flag on the top of his chariot, and it was marked with Hanuman, who fought for Lord Ramchandra. He's fighting for Krishna. He's also following the footsteps of Vrajranjaji. Vaishnavism is like that. Mahajano Jinagata Savanta. Vaishnava should follow his previous Mahajan's authority. Arjuna is fighting for Krishna. He is following the previous fighting Acharya, Hanumanji. Therefore he has depicted his flag with Hanuman, that Hanumanji, Vrajranjaji, kindly help me. That is Vaishnavism. I've come here to fight for Lord Krishna. You fought also for the Lord. Kindly help me. This is the idea. Kapit Vaja. So before performing my activities, the Vaishnavas should always pray to the previous Acharya, kindly help me. The Vaishnava is always thinking himself helpless, and begging help from the previous Acharya. I just told in the beginning, we have these prayers in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the mood, this helplessness. I cannot understand Bhagavad Gita, but by your mercy I will be able to understand that. Last year I was traveling with one of the Swamis, and he said to me, confidential, before the lecture I pray Om Jnana Dimandasya, and then I pray to Srila Prabhupada, and that makes it whether I can say something that will help other in their spiritual life. That should never think I do things on my own strength, because all strength comes from Krishna, all capacity, everything we do, he controls, not the only. So we have text 21 and 22. 21, 22, first 3. Arjuna said, when followed one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here, who desire to fight, with whom I must contend in this great rival's arms. It's 23, the last one. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded Dhritarashtra. So here we see Krishna gets orders from Arjuna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Arjuna says to Krishna, put my chariot between the two arms. It's a very interesting situation. There are more than 500 million chariots who is going to fight. It was the most heavy battle, greatest battle that had ever happened on this earth. 500 million were going to fight that, and they practically all will die. That was and there was a front line of about 80 miles. 80 miles front line. And he's saying to Krishna, put my chariot between the two armies. Now 21, 22. I will read a part of this last book of verse 21, 22. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy he was engaged in the service of his friends. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus is addressed here as infallible. But as charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna. Since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesh, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render service to the devotee. He takes pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him that he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds a pure devotee ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is an infallible master in all circumstances. Here we learn a lot about the relationship between Arjuna, Krishna and Arjuna, also between Arjuna and the living entity. That so Krishna is in our heart with us, and he serves us because we have material desires. He gives us a material body so that we can enjoy as we desire. Of course, it's all happening under his laws of nature, because the material world is a condemned place, and we are also condemned in this material world, because everyone has to die. But Krishna is with us in the heart, and if we go to that process of surrender, and Srila Prabhupada spoke about this process of surrender, 6 stages. 6 stages. It's understanding what's pleasing Krishna, what's favorable for devotional service, and accepting that. Rejecting what's unfavorable for devotional service. Understanding Krishna is my only maintainer. Krishna is my only protector. And I surrender to Krishna, and in all humility. These are stages of surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is called infallible because he never fails in his affection for his devotees. He's always seeking an opportunity to serve his devotees. He takes more pleasure in carrying out the orders of his devotee than when he himself gives orders. Although he accepted the position of a charioteer to Arjuna, his position as Supreme Personality of Godhead was not challenged. And then Arjuna wanted to see his opponents, with whom I have to fight, and also gain an estimation of strength. A little the same thing as Duryodhana, who wanted to make a calculation. He wanted to see who are these persons who are supporting this evil Duryodhana. He wanted to see them. But he was confident of his victory, because Krishna was on his side. Now, Srila Prabhupada has a lot of quotes on that, and I will read a few of them. So Krishna is Paramatma, the super soul, present in everyone, as a supreme guidance, and therefore is already the chariot driver and counsel of all living entities. That's Krishna's natural position. When he exhibits himself as a chariot driver of Arjuna, there is no change in his exalted position. It is the power of devotional service alone that identifies him as a chariot driver or the messenger. Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala. He is very affectionate to his devotee. He takes pleasure in being controlled by his devotees. Although Krishna has all good qualities, he is not proud. He drove Arjuna's chariot. Krishna wasn't thinking, what will people think if I drive a chariot? No king would ever lower himself to do such a menial service. Krishna's foster father was a chariot driver, and for that reason Krishna was not accepted as a Kshatriya and was looking down upon. Rather, this other Swayamvar rejected him on these grounds. Yet Krishna accepted such a low position to please his devotee. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, when chasing Jarasandha, Arjuna's horses became tired, and he made a hole of arrows and created a lake so that the horses could drink. At that time Krishna took care of the horses by plucking out all the arrows, dressing their wounds, massaging them and giving them water. Performed all the duties of the throne. Why did he take so much trouble? Out of affection for Arjuna, he takes more pleasure in serving his devotees than he does in being served. So we learn from this This is better. It is better to serve Krishna's servant than try to serve him directly. That's a very important point. Durbuddhi, that's in verse 23, that's the last of Srila Prabhupada's comment. To usurp others' property is durbuddhi, mischievous. It is wrong to encroach upon others' property. Tena tyaktena bunchita magrita kasya svit danam. That we will learn from Shisa Upanishad. The Vedic instruction is that you accept only what is given to you and do not encroach upon others' property. This is peaceful. Everything belongs to Krishna, so whatever Krishna gives you as prasadam, as his favor, accept it and be satisfied. So, once Lord Chaitanya was traveling through South India, and he came, was it in Srirangam or Ranganath? But I think it was in Srirangam, and he came at the temple there, and at the entrance of the temple, he saw a Brahmin. And the Brahmin was reciting Bhagavad Gita. But his Sanskrit pronunciation was not good. He was saying everything wrong practically. And many Brahmins came and they knew this temple priest, and they were joking with him because they were thinking that they knew he's illiterate, he cannot read. But then when Lord Chaitanya came there, he heard also this Brahman reciting Bhagavad Gita. And Lord Chaitanya spoke to the Brahman and said, "Oh, my dear Brahman, you are reciting everything. You are making so many errors in your recitation of Bhagavad Gita. How is that possible? How is that?" But when Lord Chaitanya asked this to this Brahman, the Brahman felt not disturbed because he felt Lord Chaitanya's sincerity in his question, that this person is not joking with me. So he gave a very sincere answer. He said, "Oh, I've been instructed by my spiritual master to recite daily 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. But I'm illiterate, what can I do? I'm trying my best to recite it. And so many errors, yeah. But then Lord Chaitanya said to the Brahman, "But I see you reciting these verses, but while you are reciting this, these tears are coming out of your eyes. How is this possible?" And then the Brahman said, "Yes, because when I start reciting Bhagavad Gita, this vision comes before me. You have Krishna is serving his devotee as a charioteer driver, and so affectionate to his devotee. Bhakta Vatsala is so affectionate that because to be a charioteer driver in such a battle, it's not an easy job. You have to direct the horses, and you get all the dirt is coming up on you at first. It's not an easy job, and so the Brahman said, when I see this, then I see this love of Krishna for his devotees, and then tears of love come out of my eyes. And Lord Chaitanya embraced him, and he said, "You are the real student of Bhagavad Gita." So that is Krishna's position as Bhakta Vatsala to his devotees. Once Arjuna, that's before the Battle of Kurukshetra, when they were in exile, he met on his way a monkey. and the monkey very respectfully offered his respect to his pronouns to Arjuna. And Arjuna asked, yeah, who are you? And the monkey said, I'm Hanuman. I'm the servant of Lord Rama. And Arjuna asked him, oh, I'm Arjuna, the Pandavas. So, are you the Hanuman who has jumped to Lanka? That and Lord Rama had built a bridge with the help of the monkeys? And Hanuman said, yes, I'm that same Hanuman. And then Arjuna said, but if I would have been there, I would just have built a bridge by shooting arrows, a very strong bridge. And Hanuman said, that's not possible. So Arjuna said, then Lord Ram would not have needed this army of monkeys to build that bridge. Hanuman said, I don't believe that. And Arjuna said, I will show you. And Arjuna started to shoot arrows, and with his arrows he built a bridge. Then he said to Hanuman, you can test the bridge. And then Hanuman, he went into the mountains and took stones everywhere, and was, with his hairs he was connecting it to his body so that he would be very heavy. And then when he came to the bridge, he put one foot on the bridge, and the bridge started to tremble. And then Arjuna was thinking, oh, that's not going to happen here. And Arjuna was praying to Lord Krishna, please protect the words of the Pandavas, the fame of the Pandavas, because I'm going to be dishonored here. Please protect my honor. And then Hanuman jumped on the bridge, and wonder by wonder the bridge was going a little down, but it was holding him. And Hanuman was looking down, and there was a river on the sea. And at a certain moment he saw like blood in the river, it became red. And then he was jumping out of the bridge, and he looked under the bridge, and he saw under the bridge Lord Ram, who was holding the bridge. And Hanuman said, oh my Lord, you are holding the bridge. Yes, Lord Ram said, because I have to protect the honor of my devotee Arjuna. But it is said Arjuna, he was not seeing Lord Ram, but he saw the Lord in his form as Krishna. So that is Bhakta Vatsala. This Krishna protects his devotees. We will learn that also in 9.22 in Bhagavad Gita. Ananya Sindhyamyam Yechanam Paripashti. Yogaksiyam Kamyam. Yeah. Right? This verse tells us that Krishna will protect what you have. That I will supply everything you need. In the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains, Krishna will protect our spiritual advancement and will give us everything to make further advancement. He gives us spiritual protection. So that is the first two lessons of Bhagavad Gita. I will show you also. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Next time we will go further in Bhakta Vatsala, and then we will enter in Arjuna's doubts, which is a very important section, and that's and learn about these reasons that Arjuna gives for not fighting. We will hear them all and try to understand Arjuna's doubts. They are all good reasons for not fighting, but they are all wrong. We will learn that. So, thank you very much. If there are any questions? Yeah. I have no time. Questions? He has studied Bhagavad Gita very deeply. He has more than 30 years of experience of study of Bhagavad Gita. He gave a course on it. And I heard his recordings. Purnachandra Maharaj has studied 45, 6 years. I got it from his recordings and not that got it from the scriptures.
It says that even the glance of Krishna can purify you. So when you said Arjuna and Duryodhana went to see Krishna, so although Duryodhana was evil, he still got to see Krishna, but why didn't he get purified? Because Krishna is very beautiful, he saw him.
That's a very interesting question. The thing is here that Krishna is mission. And Duryodhana and all those on the side of the coast, everyone who was fighting on the battle of Kurukshetra got liberation. So they were purified at the end by their fighting. But we will learn in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yadaya Daya Dharmasya Klanya Bhavta Bharata Yutanama Dharmasya Katanam Sishanam. Wherever and whenever there is a decline in the religious principles, I appear and to re-establish the principles of religion. How does he re-establish them? By speaking Bhagavad Gita. So the whole Kurukshetra war was there so that he could speak Bhagavad Gita. And in addition to that, Paritranaya Sadhanam, Vinasaya Saduskritam. So he is there to kill the demons and to protect the devotees. So Duryodhana is taking the role of a demon and he has to be killed. That's Krishna's arrangement. So all these personalities, they are practically devotees, but they take a certain role in the whole play. And they have to play the play as Krishna is designed. It's all predestined, it's all arranged by Krishna, the whole battle of Kurukshetra. But of course, to be purified, one becomes purified and one surrenders to Krishna. But if there is no surrender to Krishna and one does not engage in devotional service, it's no question of purification. There's no question of purification, there's no question of knowing who Krishna is. So many were there in the battle of Kurukshetra. Who knew Krishna? The Pandavas, 5 Pandavas knew Krishna. Then there is here and there one devotee, like Vidura, in your Krishna position, that Vishmadev, of course, that, and then you have a few devotees, Sanjay, and you have also, it's mentioned in the Uddhav, the pure devotee, Akrura, the pure devotee, and not so many, Navadamani of course. Yes, pure devotees are very rare. Yes.
I was thinking that even when Krishna came to try and talk Duryodhana out the fight, and Duryodhana was thinking, let's kidnap him.
Yeah.
And that's where he was at. He wasn't thinking the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna manifested his universal form and his past, and most of the people in the room collapsed at the whole brilliance of it all. And even after that, Duryodhana said, or some kind of yogic trick, he still couldn't accept it. Even after all that, he was adamant.
Yeah, Krishna showed him his universal.
Yeah, he still didn't accept it. It's rascal.
It's real envy. Something else. Yes.
When you said everybody on the battlefield got liberated, where did they go? Did they go like to Golok or to Vaikuntha? Or?
It is said that everyone who saw Krishna on the battlefield, so about we have heard it from a lecture we gave. Everyone who saw him in the battlefield got liberation. That means come back to the spiritual world. Because that's liberation. Going to Indra Loka is not liberation. One stays in the cycle of birth and death. But only Krishna can give liberation. Only Vishnu or Vishnu Tattva can give liberation. Everyone who signs is liberated. But it's also that one may fight at their own side, but one act of duty, out of duty as a Kshatriya, without being attached to the result. I will do my duty without being attached to the result. One has no reaction and it's liberating. So that's also a great factor. It's not a cheap thing as a Kshatriya to give your life out of duty. Because there may even be a motivation of enjoyment, but that's secondary. The first point was, I will do my duty and fight. So, and that's purifying. That's what Bhagavad Gita explains. That because we will learn that in the second chapter. The second chapter is a summary of Bhagavad Gita. And there Krishna says that because we have here these doubts of Arjuna, and you have that continues till verse 10 in the second chapter. And then Krishna gives he speaks about the soul. The soul. He tells Arjuna, because you have all these reasons, he answers these reasons. He says, Krishna gives all reasons on the holy platform. But Krishna says you are a spirit soul. So you don't die, you don't kill anyone, so all your reasons are bogus. But then he says, if you want enjoyment, okay, in the second chapter, then yes, you fight as a Kshatriya and you want kingdom. If you die, then you go to the heavenly planets, then you enjoy there. And then if you die, you go to the heavenly planets. If you survive, you will enjoy a kingdom. So he's speaking about enjoyment there. Just doing your duty and you will get enjoyment. But then, after that, the third part is a combination of these two. Krishna says you have to do your duty, but not in the consciousness of enjoyment, but you have to combine it with the consciousness of the soul. You have to fight as a spirit soul in that consciousness, and that's yoga. Being free from the attachments of results, success equal in success and failure, victory or defeat. So, and that's the main point, that combination that is explained there. And Arjuna will not understand that in the beginning. That how to act as a spirit soul, not for enjoyment, but for the enjoyment of Krishna. So that's the main point. Anyway, thank you very much. We see each other next week. If you can read from text 21 on till the end of the chapter, and read it and try to understand this all out. That will be very helpful for next week to understand.